The world's great age begins anew. The golden years return. The earth doth like a snake renew her winter weeds outworn. Heaven smiles, and faiths and empires gleam like wrecks of a dissolving dream. A brighter Hellas rears its mountains from waves serene afar. A new Peneus rolls his fountains against the morning star. Where fairer Tempes bloom, there sleep young Cyclades on a sunnier deep. A loftier Argo cleaves the main, fraught with a later prize. Another Orpheus sings again, and loves and weeps and dies. A new Ulysses leaves once more Calypso for his native shore. Oh, write no more the tale of Troy, if earth death's scroll must be, nor mix with lion rage the joy which dawns upon the free. Although a subtler Sphinx renew riddles of death Thebes never knew. Another Athens shall arise, and to remoter time bequeath like sunset to the skies the splendor of its prime, and leave, if naught so bright may live, all earth can take or heaven can give. Saturn and love their long repose shall burst, more bright and good than all who fell, than one who rose, than many unsubdued. Not gold, not blood their altar dowers, but votive tears and symbol flowers. Oh, cease, must hate and death return? Cease, must men kill and die? Cease, drain not to its dregs the urn of bitter prophecy. The world is weary of the past. Oh, might it die or rest at last. I dreamed that as I wandered by the way, bare winter suddenly was changed to spring, and gentle odors led my steps astray, mixed with a sound of waters murmuring along a shelving bank of turf, which lay under a copse and hardly dared to fling its green arms round the bosom of the stream, but kissed it and then fled, as thou mightst in dream. There grew pied windflowers and violets, daisies, those pearl arcturi of the earth, the constellated flower that never sets, faint oxlips, tender bluebells, at whose birth the sod scarce heaved, and that tall flower that wets, like a child half in tenderness and mirth, its mother's face with heaven's collected tears, when the low wind its playmate's voice it hears. And in the warm hedge grew lush eglantine, green cowbind, and the moonlight-coloured may, and cherry blossoms, and white cups whose wine was the bright dew, yet drained not by the day, and wild roses, and ivy serpentine, with its dark buds and leaves wandering astray, and flowers azure, black, and streaked with gold, fairer than any wakened eyes behold. And nearer to the river's trembling edge there grew broad flag flowers, purple pranked with white, and starry river buds among the sedge, and floating water lilies broad and bright, which lit the oak that overhung the hedge with moonlight beams of their own watery light, and bulrushes and reeds of such deep green as soothed the dazzled eye with sober sheen. Methought that of these visionary flowers I made a nosegay, bound in such a way that the same hues which in their natural bowers were mingled or opposed, the like array kept these imprisoned children of the hours within my hand. And then elate and gay I hastened to the spot whence I had come, that I might there present it. Oh, to whom? Our boat is asleep on Circeo's stream. Its sails are folded like thoughts in a dream. The helm sways idly hither and thither. Dominic the boatman has brought the mast, and the oars and the sails, but 'tis sleeping fast like a beast unconscious of its tether. The stars burnt out in the pale blue air, and the thin white moon lay withering there. To tower and cavern and rift and tree, the owl and the bat fled drowsily. Day had kindled the dewy woods, and the rocks above and the stream below, and the vapours in their multitudes, and the Apennines shroud of summer snow, and clothed with light of airy gold, the mists in their eastern caves uprolled. Day had awakened all things that be, the lark and the thrush and the swallow free, and the milkmaid's song and the mower's scythe, and the matin bell and the mountain bee. Fireflies were quenched on the dewy corn, glowworms went out on the river's brim, like lamps which a student forgets to trim. The beetle forgot to wind his horn, the crickets were still in the meadow and hill. Like a flock of rooks at a farmer's gun, night's dreams and terrors, every one, fled from the brains which are their prey, from the lamp's death to the morning ray. All rose to do the task he set to each, who shaped us to his ends and not our own. The million rose to learn, and one to teach what none yet ever knew or can be known. And many rose whose woe was such that fear became desire. Melchior and Lionel were not among those. They from the throng of men had stepped aside and made their home under the green hillside. It was that hill whose intervening brow screens lucre from the Pisan's envious eye, which the circumfluous plain waving below, like a wide lake of green fertility, with streams and fields and marshes bare, divides from the far Apennines, which lie islanded in the immeasurable air. What think you as she lies in her green cove, our little sleeping boat is dreaming of? If morning dreams are true, why I should guess that she was dreaming of our idleness, and of the miles of watery way we should have led her by this time of day. Never mind, said Lionel, give care to the winds, they can bear it well about yon poplar tops, and see the white clouds are driving merrily, and the stars we missed this morn will light more willingly our return tonight. How it whistles Dominic's long black hair! List, my dear fellow, the breeze blows fair. Hear how it sings into the air. Of us and of our lazy motions, impatiently said Melchior. If I can guess a boat's emotions, and how we ought 2 hours before to have been the devil knows where. And then in such transalpine Tuscan as would have killed a Della Cruscan. So Lionel, according to his art, weaving his idle words, Melchior said, she dreams that we are not yet out of bed. We'll put a soul into her and a heart, which like a dove chased by a dove shall beat. I heave the ballast overboard, and stow the eatables in the aft locker. Would not this keg be best a little lowered? No, now all's right. Those bottles of warm tea, give me some straw, must be stowed tenderly, such as we used in summer after 6 to cram in greatcoat pockets, and to mix hard eggs and radishes and rolls at Eton, and couched on stolen hay in those green harbours farmers called gaps, and we schoolboys called arbours, would feast till 8. With a bottle in one hand, as if his very soul were at a stand, Lionel stood, when Melchior brought him steady. Sit at the helm, fasten this sheet, all ready. The chain is loosed, the sails are spread, the living breath is fresh behind, as with dews and sunrise fed comes the laughing morning wind. The sails are full, the boat makes head against the Circio's torrent fierce, then flags with intermitting course, and hangs upon the wave, which fervid from its mountain source, shallow, smooth, and strong doth come. Swift as fire tempestuously, it sweeps into the affrighted sea. In morning smile its eddies coil, its billows sparkle, toss and boil, torturing all its quiet light into columns fierce and bright. The Circio, twisting forth between the marble barriers which it clove at Rippa Fratta, leads through the dread chasm, the wave that died the death which lovers love, living in what it sought. As if this spasm had not yet passed, the toppling mountains cling, but the clear stream in full enthusiasm pours itself on the plain, then wandering down one clear path of effluence crystalline, sends its superfluous waves, that they may fling at Arno's feet tribute of corn and wine. Then, through the pestilential deserts wild of tangled marsh and woods of stunted pine, it rushes to the ocean. The sun is warm, the sky is clear, the waves are dancing fast and bright, blue isles and snowy mountains wear the purple noon's transparent might. The breath of the moist earth is light around its unexpanded buds. Like many a voice of wonder light, the winds, the birds, the ocean floods, the city's voice itself is soft like solitude's. I see the deep's untrampled floor with green and purple seaweed strown. I see the waves upon the shore like light dissolved in star showers thrown. I sit upon the sands alone. The lightning of the noontide ocean is flashing round me, and a tone arises from its measured motion. How sweet did any heart now share in my emotion. Alas, I have nor hope, nor health, nor peace within, nor calm around, nor that content surpassing wealth the sage in meditation found, and walked with inward glory crowned. Nor fame, nor power, nor love, nor leisure. Others I see whom these surround, smiling they live, and call life pleasure. To me that cup has been dealt in another measure. Yet now despair itself is mild, even as the winds and waters are. I could lie down like a tired child and weep away the life of care which I have borne and yet must bear, till death like sleep might steal on me, and I might feel in the warm air my cheek grow cold, and hear the sea breathe o'er my dying brain its last monotony. Some might lament that I were cold, as I, when this sweet day is gone, which my lost heart too soon grown old, insults with this untimely moan. They might lament, for I am one whom men love not, and yet regret, unlike this day, which when the sun shall on its stainless glory set, will linger, though enjoyed, like joy in memory yet. Swiftly walk o'er the western wave, spirit of night, out of the misty eastern cave, where all the long and lone daylight thou wovest dreams of joy and fear, which make thee terrible and dear. Swift be thy flight. Wrap thy form in a mantle grey, star inwrought. Blind with thine hair the eyes of day. Kiss her until she be wearied out. Then wander o'er city and sea and land, touching all with thine opiate wand. Come, long sought. When I arose and saw the dawn, I sighed for thee. When light rode high and the dew was gone, and noon lay heavy on flower and tree, and the weary day turned to his rest, lingering like an unloved guest, I sighed for thee. Thy brother Death came and cried, wouldst thou me? Thy sweet child Sleep, the filmy-eyed, murmured like a noontide bee, shall I nestle near thy side? Wouldst thou me? And I replied, no, not thee. Death will come when thou art dead, soon, too soon. Sleep will come when thou art fled. Of neither would I ask the boon I ask of thee, beloved night. Swift been thine approaching flight. Come soon, soon. Music, when soft voices die, vibrates in the memory. Odors, when sweet violets sicken, live within the sense they quicken. Rose leaves, when the rose is dead, are heaped for the beloved's bed. And so thy thoughts, when thou art gone, love itself shall slumber on. O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing, yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence-stricken multitudes. O thou, who chariotest to their dark wintry bed the winged seeds where they lie cold and low, each like a corpse within its grave, until thine azure sister of the spring shall blow her clarion o'er the dreaming earth, and fill driving sweet buds like flocks to feed in air, with living hues and odors plain and hill. Wild spirit which art moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, hear, oh hear. Thou on whose stream, mid the steep sky's commotion, loose clouds like earth's decaying leaves are shed, shook from the tangled boughs of heaven and ocean. Angels of rain and lightning, there are spread on the blue surface of thine airy surge, like the bright hair uplifted from the head of some fierce Maenad, even from the dim verge of the horizon to the zenith's height, the locks of the approaching storm. Thou dirge of the dying year, to which this closing night will be the dome of a vast sepulchre, vaulted with all thy congregated might of vapours, from whose solid atmosphere black rain and fire and hail will burst. Oh, hear! Thou who didst waken from his summer dreams the blue Mediterranean, where he lay lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams beside a pumice isle in Bysshe Bay, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers quivering within the waves' intenser day, all overgrown with azure moss and flowers so sweet the sense faints picturing them. Thou for whose path the Atlantic's level powers cleave themselves into chasms, while far below the sea blooms and the oozy woods which wear the sapless foliage of the ocean know thy voice and suddenly grow grey with fear and tremble and despoil themselves. Oh, hear! If I were a dead leaf thou mightest bear, if I were a swift cloud to fly with thee, a wave to pant beneath thy power, and share the impulse of thy strength only less free than thou, O uncontrollable. If even I were as in my boyhood, and could be the comrade of thy wanderings over heaven, as then when to outstrip thy skiey speed scarce seemed a vision, I would ne'er have striven as thus with thee in prayer in my sore need. Oh, lift me as a wave, a leaf, a cloud. I fall upon the thorns of life. I bleed. A heavy weight of ours has chained and bowed one too like thee, tameless and swift and proud. Make me thy lyre, even as the forest is. What if my leaves are falling like its own? The tumult of thy mighty harmonies will take from both a deep autumnal tone, sweet though in sadness. Be thou spirit fierce, my spirit, be thou me, impetuous one. Drive my dead thoughts over the universe like withered leaves to quicken a new birth. And by the incantation of this verse, scatter as from an unextinguished hearth ashes and sparks, my words among mankind. Be through my lips to unawakened earth the trumpet of a prophecy. O wind, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? The sleepless hours who watch me as I lie, curtained with star-inwoven tapestries from the broad moonlight of the sky, fanning the busy dreams from my dim eyes, waken me when their mother, the grey dawn, tells them the dreams and that the moon is gone. Then I arise, and climbing heaven's blue dome, I walk o'er the mountains and the waves, leaving my robe upon the ocean foam. My footsteps pave the clouds with fire, the caves are filled with my bright presence, and the air leaves the green earth to my embraces bare. The sunbeams are my shafts, with which I kill deceit that loves the night and fears the day. All men who do or even imagine ill fly me, and from the glory of my ray, good minds and open actions take new might, until diminished by the rain of night. I feed the clouds, the rainbows and the flowers with their ethereal colors. The moon's globe and the pure stars in their eternal bowers are cinctured with my power as with a robe. Whatever lamps on earth or heaven may shine are portions of one power, which is mine. I stand at noon upon the peak of heaven. Then with unwilling steps I wander down into the clouds of the Atlantic even. For grief that I depart they weep and frown. What look is more delightful than the smile with which I soothe them from the Western Isle? I am the eye with which the universe beholds itself and knows itself divine. All harmony of instrument or verse, all prophecy, all medicine is mine. All light of art or nature, to my song, victory and praise in its own right belong. Hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never wert, that from heaven or near it pourest thy full heart in profuse strains of unpremeditated art. Higher still and higher from the earth thou springest, like a cloud of fire. The blue deep thou wingest, and singing still dost soar, and soaring ever singest. In the golden lightning of the sunken sun, o'er which clouds are brightening, thou dost float and run, like an unbodied joy whose race is just begun. The pale purple even melts around thy flight. Like a star of heaven in the broad daylight, thou art unseen. But yet I hear, keen as are the arrows of that silver sphere, whose intense lamp narrows in the white dawn hardly see. We feel that it is there. All the earth and air with thy voice is loud, as when night is bare, from one lonely cloud the moon rains out her beams, and heaven is overflowed. What thou art we know not. What is most like thee? From rainbow clouds there flow not drops so bright to see, as from thy presence showers a rain of melody. Like a poet hidden in the light of thought, singing hymns unbidden, till the world is wrought to sympathy with hopes and fears it heeded not. Like a high-born maiden in a palace tower, soothing her love-laden soul in secret hour, with music sweet as love, which overflows her bower. Like a glowworm golden in a dell of dew, scattering unbeholden its aerial hue among the flowers and grass which screen it from the view. Like a rose embowered in its own green leaves, by warm winds deflowered, till the scent it gives makes faint with too much sweet those heavy-winged thieves. Sound of vernal showers on the twinkling grass, rain-awakened flowers, all that ever was joyous and clear and fresh, thy music doth surpass. Teach us, sprite or bird, what sweet thoughts are thine. I have never heard praise of love or wine that panted forth a flood of rapture so divine. Chorus, hymeneal, or triumphal chant, matched with thine would be all but an empty vaunt, a thing wherein we feel there is some hidden want. What What objects are the fountains of thy happy strain? What fields or waves or mountains? What shapes of sky or plain? What love of thine own kind? What ignorance of pain? With thy clear, keen joyance languor cannot be. Shadow of annoyance never came near thee. Thou lovest, but ne'er knew love's sad satiety. Waking or asleep, thou of death must deem things more true and deep than we mortals dream. Or how could thy notes flow in such a crystal stream? We look before and after, and pine for what is not. Our sincerest laughter with some pain is fraught. Our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thought. Yet if we could scorn hate and pride and fear, if we were things born not to shed a tear, I know not how thy joy we ever should come near. Better than all measures of delightful sound, better than all treasures that in books are found, thy skill the poet wear, thou scorner of the ground. Teach me half the gladness that thy brain must know. Such harmonious madness from my lips would flow, the world should listen then, as I am listening now. When the lamp is shattered, the light in the dust lies dead. When the cloud is scattered, the rainbow's glory is shed. When the lute is broken, sweet tones are remembered not. When the lips have spoken, loved accents are soon forgot. As music and splendor survive not the lamp and the lute, the heart's echoes render no song when the spirit is mute. No song but sad dirges, like the wind through a ruined cell, or the mournful surges that ring the dead seaman's knell. When hearts have once mingled, love first leaves the well-built nest. The weak one is single to endure what it once possessed. O love, who bewailest the frailty of all things here, why choose you the frailest for your cradle, your home, and your bier? Its passions will rock thee as the storms rock the ravens on high. Bright reason will mock thee like the sun from a wintry sky. From thy nest every rafter will rot, and thine eagle home leave thee naked to laughter when leaves fall and cold winds come. I weep for Adonais, he is dead. Oh, weep for Adonais, though our tears thaw not the frost which binds so dear a head. And thou, sad hour, selected from all years to mourn our loss, rouse thy obscure compeers and teach them thine own sorrow. Say, with me died Adonais, till the future dares forget the past, his fate and fame shall be an echo and a light unto eternity. Where wert thou, mighty mother, when he lay, when thy son lay, pierced by the shaft which flies in darkness? Where was lorn Urania when Adonais died? With veiled eyes, mid listening echoes in her paradise she sat, while one with soft enamored breath rekindled all the fading melodies with which, like flowers that mock the corse beneath, he had adorned and hid the coming bulk of death. Oh, weep for Adonais, he is dead. Wake, melancholy mother, wake and weep. Yet wherefore? Quench within their burning bed thy fiery tears, and let thy loud heart keep, like his, a mute and uncomplaining sleep. For he is gone where all things wise and fair descend. Oh, dream not that the amorous deep will yet restore him to the vital air. Death feeds on his mute voice and laughs at our despair. Most musical of mourners, weep anew. Not all to that bright station dare to climb, and happier they their happiness who knew, whose tapers yet burned through that night of time in which suns perished. Others more sublime, struck by the envious wrath of man or God, have sunk extinct in their refulgent prime, and some yet live, treading the thorny road which leads through toil and hate to fame's serene abode. But now thy youngest, dearest one has perished, the nursling of thy widowhood, who grew like a pale flower by some sad maiden cherished, and fed with true love tears instead of dew. Most musical of mourners, weep anew. Thy extreme hope, the loveliest and the last, the bloom whose petals nipped before they blew, died on the promise of the fruit, is waste. The broken lily lies, the storm is overpast. To that high capital where kingly death keeps his pale court in beauty and decay, he came, and bought with price of purest breath a grave among the eternal. Come away, haste while the vault of blue Italian day is yet his fitting charnel roof, while still he lies, as if in dewy sleep he lay. Awake him not, surely he takes his fill of deep and liquid rest, forgetful of all ill. Oh, weep for Adonais, the quick dreams, the passion-winged ministers of thought who wear his flocks, whom near the living streams of his young spirit he fed, and whom he taught the love which was its music. Wander not, wander no more from kindling brain to brain, but droop there whence they sprung, and mourn their lot round the cold heart, where after their sweet pain they ne'er will gather strength or find a home again. And one with trembling hands clasps his cold head and fans him with her moonlight wings and cries, "Our love, our hope, our sorrow is not dead. See on the silken fringe of his faint eyes, like dew upon a sleeping flower, there lies a tear some dream has loosened from his brain." Lost angel of a ruined paradise, she knew not 'twas her own, as with no stain she faded, like a cloud which had outswept its rain. One from a lucid urn of starry dew washed his light limbs as if embalming them. Another clipped her profuse locks, and threw the wreath upon him like an anadem which frozen tears instead of pearls begem. Another in her wilful grief would break her bow and winged reeds, as if to stem a greater loss with one which was more weak, and dull the barbed fire against his frozen cheek. Another splendor on his mouth alit, that mouth whence it was wont to draw the breath which gave it strength to pierce the guarded wit and pass into the panting heart beneath with lightning and with music. The damp death quenched its caress upon his icy lips, and as a dying meteor stains a wreath of moonlight vapor which the cold night clips, it flushed through his pale limbs and passed to its eclipse. And others came, desires and adorations, winged persuasions and veiled destinies, splendors and glooms and glimmering incarnations of hopes and fears and twilight fantasies, and sorrow with her family of sighs, and pleasure blind with tears, led by the gleam of her own dying smile instead of eyes, came in slow pomp. The moving pomp might seem like pageantry of mist on an autumnal stream. All he had loved and molded into thought, from shape and hue and odor and sweet sound, lamented Adonais. Morning sought her eastern watchtower, and her hair unbound, wet with the tears which should adorn the ground, dimmed the aerial eyes that kindle day. Afar the melancholy thunder moaned, pale ocean in unquiet slumber lay, and the wild winds flew round, sobbing in their dismay. Lost Echo sits amid the voiceless mountains, and feeds her grief with his remembered lay, and will no more reply to winds or fountains, or amorous birds perched on the young green spray, or herdsman's horn, or bell at closing day. Since she can mimic not his lips, more dear than those for whose disdain she pined away into a shadow of all sounds, a drear murmur between their songs is all the woodmen hear. Grief made the young spring wild, and she threw down her kindling buds as if she autumn were, or they dead leaves. Since her delight is flown, for whom should she have waked the sullen year? To Phoebus was not hyacinth so dear, nor to himself Narcissus, as to both thou, Adonais. One they stand and sear amid the faint companions of their youth, with dew all turned to tears, odor to sighing ruth. Thy spirit, sister, the lorn nightingale, mourns not her mate with such melodious pain. Not so the eagle, who like thee could scale heaven, and could nourish in the sun's domain her mighty youth with mourning doth complain, soaring and screaming round her empty nest, as Albion wails for thee. The curse of Cain light on his head, who pierced thy innocent breast, and scared the angel soul that was its earthly guest. Ah, woe is me! Winter is come and gone, but grief returns with the revolving year. The airs and streams renew their joyous tone, the ants, the bees, the swallows reappear, fresh leaves and flowers deck the dead season's bier. The amorous birds now pair in every brake, and build their mossy homes in field and brier, and the green lizard and the golden snake, like unimprisoned flames, out of their trance awake. Through wood and stream and field and hill and ocean, a quickening life from the earth's heart has burst, as it has ever done, with change and motion, from the great morning of the world, when first God dawned on chaos. And in its stream immersed, the lamps of heaven flash with a softer light. All baser things pant with life's sacred thirst, diffuse themselves, and spend in love's delight the beauty and the joy of their renewed might. Peace, peace, he is not dead, he doth not sleep, he hath awakened from the dream of life. 'Tis we who, lost in stormy visions, keep with phantoms an unprofitable strife, and in mad trance strike with our spirit's knife invulnerable nothings. We decay like corpses in a charnel, fear and grief convulse us and consume us day by day, and cold hopes swarm like worms within our living clay. He has outsoared the shadow of our night, envy and calumny and hate and pain, and that unrest which men miscall delight can touch him not and torture not again. From the contagion of the world's slow stain he is secure, and now can never mourn a heart grown cold, a head grown grey in vain, nor when the spirit's self has ceased to burn, with sparkless ashes load an unlamented urn. He is made one with nature. There is heard his voice in all her music, from the moan of thunder to the song of night's sweet bird. He is a presence to be felt and known in darkness and in light, from herb and stone, spreading itself where'er that power may move, which has withdrawn his being to its own, which wheels the world with never wearied love, sustains it from beneath, and kindles it above. He is a portion of the loveliness which once he made more lovely. He doth bear his part, while the one spirit's plastic stress sweeps through the dull, dense world, compelling there all new successions to the forms they wear, torturing the unwilling dross that checks its flight to its own likeness as each mass may bear, and bursting in its beauty and its might from trees and beasts and men into the heavens' light. The splendors of the firmament of time may be eclipsed, but are extinguished not. Like stars to their appointed height they climb, and death is a low mist which cannot blot the brightness it may veil. When lofty thought lifts a young heart above its mortal lair, and love and life contend in it for what shall be its earthly doom, the dead live there and move like winds of light on dark and stormy air. Go thou to Rome, at once the paradise, the grave, the city, and the wilderness, and where its wrecks like shattered mountains rise, and flowering weeds and fragrant copses dress the bones of desolation's nakedness, pass, till the spirit of the spot shall lead thy footsteps to a slope of green access, where like an infant's smile over the dead a light of laughing flowers along the grass is spread. Here pause. These graves are all too young as yet to have outgrown the sorrow which consigned its charge to each. And if the seal is set here on one fountain of a morning mind, break it not thou. Too surely shalt thou find thine own well full if thou returnest home of tears and gall. From the world's bitter winds seek shelter in the shadow of the tomb. What Adonais is, why fear we to become? The many change and pass. Heaven's light forever shines. Earth's shadows fly. Life, like a dome of many-colored glass, stains the white radiance of eternity until death tramples it to fragments. Die, if thou wouldst be with that which thou dost seek. Follow where all is fled. Rome's azure sky, flowers, ruins, statues, music, words, are weak the glory they transfuse with fitting truth to speak. Why linger? Why turn back? Why shrink, my heart? Thy hopes are gone before. From all things here they have departed. Thou shouldst now depart. A light is passed from the revolving year, and man and woman. And what still is dear attracts to crush, repels to make thee wither. The soft sky smiles, the low wind whispers near. 'Tis Adonais calls, oh, hasten thither. No more let life divide what death can join together. That light whose smile kindles the universe, that beauty in which all things work and move, that benediction which the eclipsing curse of birth can quench not, that sustaining love which through the web of being blindly wove by man and beast and earth and air and sea burns bright or dim as each are mirrors of the fire for which all thirst, now beams on me, consuming the last clouds of cold mortality. The breath whose might I have invoked in song descends on me. My spirit's bark is driven far from the shore, far from the trembling throng whose sails were never to the tempest given. The massy earth and sphered skies are riven. I am borne darkly, fearfully afar, whilst burning through the inmost veil of heaven, the soul of Adonais, like a star, beacons from the abode where the eternal are.